Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please, I'd like to call the meeting to order, 6:01, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Let's see. And Pam, can you please do the roll call for us?
Mayor Martin,
Here.
trustee Solano,
Here.
trustee Machado,
Here.
trustee Ruggiero,
Here.
and trustee Hughes, absent.
Okay, thank you. There is a copy of the minutes in your binders from our May 19th meeting. It has been a while. So if you would just take a minute and take a look. See if there's anything that needs to be added or so corrected. And I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as sent.
So moved.
No. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, I have the abstracts here to be read. We have Capital Water Wellfield, $2,695. We have Trust and Agency at $2,022.50. Sewer abstract is $75,423.54, and water abstract $11,952.55. General fund $230,953.40. I'll entertain a motion to accept the abstracts as read.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll pass these to you, Nick.
Mhm.
Thank you. Sorry.
Who's got it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I do have a few comments tonight before we get started. The first announcement I'm really happy to make is from Comp Alliance. So we are pleased to announce that the Village of Fishkill has qualified for the Comp Alliance Safe Workplace Award for our performance during the policy year of 2023. So the enclosed check signifies the Village of Fishkill's commitment to minimizing workplace accidents and keeping its employees safe and healthy. So we were awarded $3,638. So thank you to everyone that helped and played a part in this, and we are grateful for the funds. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, always happy to get a check in the mail like that, right? We had our Memorial Day parade. It was really, really great participation this year. Believe it or not, we snuck it in through the raindrops somehow. And it was really nice. So thank you to everyone that was here. Thank you to everyone that helped work on the event. I know these events take a lot of planning. We're very grateful to everyone that helped, and we had a wonderful speaker. Thank you to Anthony for getting our speaker for us. Also, we have a July 4th event coming up. So on the 4th of July, every year, we read the Declaration of Independence from the stairs of the Van Wyck Hall here. And this year, we are partnering with the Fishkill Historical Society, and we are going to have a Benjamin Franklin actor read the Declaration of Independence. So they're going to enact the declaration for us. And it should be really good. We're very excited about this. So that's always at 11 o'clock. So if anybody's interested in coming, it's really a wonderful tradition, and I'm so happy that we offer that here. So we have that coming up. And also, we also have our election coming up, which is June 17th, not June 18th, like the Southern Dutchess News said.
Oh.
It's June 17th from noon to 9 right here in Village Hall. So that is about all I have. So let's get right into the first item on the agenda is the proposed seeker resolution and declaration for the sign regulation local law. Okay. And so Greg submitted to us let's see, the seeker resolution and negative declaration. And so can you speak to this a little bit, Greg?
Find the board that the sign local law is allow the building inspector to approve certain signs in this sign districts, in not part of the Main Street sign district.
Right.
So that would be sign district number 2 and sign district number 3.
Mhm.
And signage district 2 and signage district 3. And that would allow the building inspector to approve those signs without planning necessity of planning,
Mhm.
which would save the village applicants a lot of time and money.
Right.
So it's recommended by our building inspector and I think the zoning board is also recommended it. So I would request that the board pass a negative declaration to show that this is not going to have any significant environmental impact.
Mhm.
So I believe that would be a legal determination by the board.
Okay. So again, this was to expedite building permits for signs for, and I think it makes us more business friendly. And like you said, it'll save the applicants a lot of time and money, so this is a good thing. So what we are gonna do now is the negative declaration. Okay. Okay, so you all have a copy of this negative declaration in your binders, if you want to take a quick look at it. And now should these be two separate motions, Greg?
The resolution would be sufficient because that authorizes you as mayor to sign the negative declaration.
Okay. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to adopt the proposed seeker resolution and declaration for the sign regulation local law.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, while we're on this topic, now that we've adopted the secret resolution and the negative declaration, it would be appropriate to set a public hearing
Okay,
on the local law.
okay,
So I'm gonna request 30 days. Because we have to, send this local law to the town.
okay,
They're allowed, legally, they're allowed 30 days to review it.
okay.
So whatever meeting comes up.
We only,
Meeting in July.
we only have one meeting in July and it's the end of July,
That's what work,
Yeah.
Okay,
July
45 days,
23rd.
yeah.
you know.
Wait,
no, that can't
That's a
be the right
Wednesday.
date. It's gotta be
Gotta be
the
the
21st.
21st.
Yeah, it would be July 21st.
That's our only meeting.
Okay,
that would work, right?
That'll work.
okay,
That's gonna have to be the meeting.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so, then I'll entertain a motion to set the public hearing on our meeting July 21st,
Motion.
2025.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we will do that at the July 21st meeting. Okay. Yeah, July 21st, okay. And we have June 23rd meeting too, right, okay. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is drafting the local law for 18 Church Street rezoning. So we have that in the binder too, so let's take a look here. Okay. This is amending the zoning. Does anybody, have any questions or anything regarding this?
Was it determined that we were gonna strictly go to R50? I thought we still had the option to do R50 versus VCBD and this. Did we decide which zone we wanted to do?
I
That's the
thought,
recommendation of the last board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I thought we did.
But we didn't, did we have to vote on that? Cause. No,
Well, that's what,
We'll be voting on it tonight.
yeah, that's what
I know, but I meant the R50 versus VCBD.
I thought. I thought that was the consensus last meeting.
I was leaning more towards VCBD.
I thought the
I
consensus was
thought he was just really
R50.
explaining the differences to us.
Nothing's cut in stone, but maybe service.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, can you-
So
yeah, thank
it
you.
was my understanding, I wasn't at the last meeting, but my colleague who was here had expressed to me that the consensus of the board was to do R50 and to draft the local law in that way. So the next steps for the local law would get referred to county planning and to the planning board for review and comment. Then it would come back to your board, and then you would set the public hearing.
Right, so we're not voting on this tonight.
No, this
We're-
isn't to vote on the local law. This is
To send it.
purely
Send it
to
to the
send it
county.
to the county and the planning board for review and comment.
Okay, just to see what their comments are.
Correct. And then presuming that the board had no comment or they have comment, same thing with the county, you would consider those comments. You could change the local laws. Greg said this isn't set in stone.
Okay.
This was just how it was drafted.
Mhm.
You could amend the local law in any way, and then we would go from there. There will have to be a public hearing
Right.
on the local law. And then, of course, the secret will have to be done at the same time. But it was my understanding from the last meeting that we were asked to draft a local law to rezone it to R50. Deciding on what we would rezone to, only the discussion of the options. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to draft a local law that had options in it. We would have to have
One or the other.
one or the other. Yeah.
So, okay.
Than that.
And your recommendation?
Our recommendation was R50, pure, not because it really allowed different uses. It did allow different uses, but if you changed it to VCBD, you would have to look at other properties
Mm-hmm.
along there because you still wouldn't be able, I believe the wish was if we could do VCBD, then there could be businesses on the bottom and apartments over, but you can't do that far from Main Street. So then we would have to look at the other VCBD properties to see if you would change that.
And what were you leaning more toward, Anne?
I was leaning more towards VCBD only because the house itself, the one that faces Academy, is in line with a row of houses that are indeed VCBD. Yes. And so that would just extend that street right down to the corner to include it. And as Malcolm explained at the last meeting, it would not, for the intents, for the purposes of the applicant's purposes, it's neither here nor there. He said it would not change what they want to do. But if we ever wanted to extend the corridor down that way, it would allow for mixed use with business on the bottom and housing on top if we extended that 150 feet.
Right, if you,
Which everything on that run of Church Street is indeed a business. So visually, it would be in line with the comprehensive plan, in my opinion, of businesses, because that is what everything else is. It aligns to a business.
right, the remaining properties though along there are already in the GB2 district, which is the district along Route 9, so you're still achieving the business end of things. I don't disagree with, I don't disagree. Not for that structure.
Which is what we're talking
But
about.
right, but it was my understanding that your desire to do VCBD there, that one of the advantages was putting businesses on the first floor, which we couldn't do without changing the rest of the
Just saying, since it
VCBD
doesn't
district.
really For this applicant's purpose, it may say the step down the line, should that be the idea to, it just saves a step at that point, all you do is extend the corridor as opposed to having to rezone and extend the corridor.
To extend the commercial corridor down Church Street?
So there's a provision in the VCBD district that, to have apartments over businesses,
Mhm,
you can't do that. You can only do it within 150 feet of Main Street.
mhm,
So if this were zoned to VCBD, the property we're speaking of, you could only put apartments there. You couldn't put business on the first floor.
mhm,
And the intention of that was when the VCBD district was created during the comprehensive plan, people who lived one street back off of Main Street, they were concerned with the spread of business into the residential neighborhoods.
mhm.
That was the concern with that. And that was what the board at the time had come up with to prevent that from happening.
Mhm.
They were trying to unify the district along Main Street, but not impact the residents in the rear.
Right. Did you have something to say, Hans?
Very confused there about the extent. The adjacent property is a school, and I don't think the school is gonna sell their property. And then going the other way, there is already businesses rolling up the Main Street. And then again, across the street, we have the church, the cemetery, and then the church-owned food pantry, and then you have businesses, and then there's the gas station.
Mhm.
So there isn't any place to go to extend the corridor.
And I think in your last analysis, you guys determined that the stuff across the street was already pretty much properly zoned.
It is properly zoned because they're highway businesses. They front on Route 9.
Mm.
If you were going to turn it to VCBD and they were redeveloped, I think you would want to orient them then towards Church Street because you don't want a pedestrian corridor on Route 9. Like
Right.
if those were redeveloped with apartment buildings, you wouldn't want them
And
oriented towards Route 9.
saying if we did BCBD, that you couldn't put commercial on the bottom, no matter what.
No, and it was my understanding that that was the desire to do VCBD. But I'm hearing you now that that wasn't the only reason that you were suggesting that.
'Cause I thought the concern was about businesses on the bottom and the kids and everybody else walking.
That was our original
That was-
recommendation of not turning it to a commercial zoning district because you are next to the school,
But
which
then if,
Which would be R50, correct? If it
school
was
is R50. If it
Yes.
was turned to R50, you couldn't put
No
commercial
commercial.
use. No.
Yeah.
115 is where? Where does that reside?
It must end at Academy.
No, I know,
It's
but,
VCBD district, not R50 district.
So where
Right.
the dentist is?
no, sorry. I guess what I'm saying is at some point in time, people sitting up here can change the 115 to 150.
150
Or
is what it is now.
150.
It's 150 now.
It's
It's 150, it is.
150 now.
And, right,
Yeah,
so I'm saying it backwards. So this is outside of that distance, correct?
correct.
Yes.
But at some point, that could be changed by the people sitting up here to make it so it fits and you could have commercial,
Correct.
correct? So it could still, I'm not suggesting that, I'm just saying that number could always be changed.
Mhm.
So it might not achieve what you're thinking,
Right,
but
but if it's R50, that couldn't happen.
I don't believe so. It would have to. be.
No, you can't have commercial uses in
Yeah,
R50.
yeah. That's, I think, what the,
Okay,
again, I'm not trying to speak, I think that was our concern. We didn't want residential.
Okay.
I'm sorry, commercial, right? Was that our?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Greg, do we want to vote now on R50 versus VCBD up here and then vote on this going to county?
You could get a consensus of the board. So that it's knows whether to change the law or not, so that will take a motion. You can make that motion. If your motion would be the local law, for this property will be
R50?
R50.
So if the votes are against it, it would change automatically. She would change it to VCBD. Right? If it's a yay, we keep it R50. If it's a nay, it goes to VCBD. Correct? Simple as that. And if it stays R50, which is how it's written now, then it can go to county. Then we vote on this going to county. So, Mayor,
Yes,
you want to make a motion to,
And
how do you want to present it, Greg?
A motion to, keep the local law as being, this property as being R50.
okay,
You
so,
okay with that?
yeah, I'll entertain a motion to keep this property at, what is it, 18 Church Street?
Yep.
Yes, 18 Church Street to, the R50 zoning district.
So moved.
second,
Is there any discussion, any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So then you should be all set.
We're all set with this, yes, with the local law. So now the board should refer it, I mean, if you're ready, refer it to county planning and to the planning board for their review and comment.
Okay. I don't need to make a motion for that, do I?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then I will entertain a motion to refer this local law. Do we know what number it is yet? Concerning the zoning in the R50 zone on 18 Church Street, referring that to Dutchess County Planning for their comments.
motion.
And the planning board.
And our village planning board for their comments as well.
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That be waiting for the Board of Trustees as the lead
What did
agency.
you say?
Okay,
for seeker.
okay. And I'll entertain a motion to designate the Village Board of Trustees as lead agency for seeker purposes.
Purposes.
Can't even do that voice. Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay.
You have
Yes.
a question?
Yeah, just to clarify,
thank you.
Right. moving forward, it's going to Dutchess County and
Yes.
they need 30 days.
Yes,
And then it's also concurrently gonna go to your planning. board?
yes,
Okay,
for their comments as well.
comment and after that process, you have to adopt the local law as amended.
Yes, but they have to,
I'm sorry, do we need a public hearing?
You have to-
Public hearing.
mhm.
Then-
Yeah.
So if everything happens within 30 days, maybe we're looking at July 21st for
That's
that.
gonna be a busy meeting, but yes,
But that's the next possible
July or August.
alignment.
Yes. yeah.
Yeah, because the planning board meets next, July 17th, I believe.
That's not enough time for them to review it.
There's
or-
not enough time for the timing.
Yeah, the county needs 30 days.
Yeah.
You're probably looking at August,
We're looking about.
Okay, August.
the latest.
All right, so we could just check in with someone.
Yeah.
In July.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're off to the races.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Reach out
you.
to Pam.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a question. So for the R50, it's residential? right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's what the original petition was for R50.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the proposed amendment for the building permit fee schedule. I think that was an email. Did
He didn't give me anything.
No?
Yeah, right,
Okay.
He told me that he was gonna have something for me and he never gave it to me.
oh, you have a cut, yeah,
I think he's,
Oh, you have it?
I'm working on,
He never gave it to me.
well, he sent it like 3:30 this afternoon. Yeah.
Make copies.
Cool. Thanks, Pam.
didn't we?
And just as an FYI, we've never added fluoride to our water. Paul just responded.
Oh, good.
Never, never have.
We never did what?
Add fluoride.
So then I think we
Water.
should
Oh, yeah,
maybe
no.
table this till the next meeting since we didn't have the,
Yeah, I don't have.
yeah, the handout.
Yeah, yeah.
But, no, I was gonna have to, about the fluoride, that's Beacon?
Yeah,
Somehow it came up, the conversation
Yeah.
about Beacon, I guess, adding it or something, or.
they were having to dilute their water or something.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna add the building fees to the next meeting, you said.
I think so, unless, I mean, she was gonna go make a copy of the email, but it came in late this afternoon.
Why don't we take a look at it now?
Very short.
Yeah, it's a very
Oh, it's a
short,
very short.
yeah.
Yeah, let's look at it when she makes the copies.
Thank you. Oops.
Very short.
Come on.
We know what-
Never-
Can we just vote on these fees?
This is what we had been discussing about
Thank you.
the permit fees. He wanted to make this amendment. They wanted to, calculate them on the total gross floor.
How were we doing it before?
I think it was, wasn't it just a flat fee? Do you remember it
Well,
all?
didn't we get something?
That was never our trivia.
Mhm.
True.
Well, we just updated our fee schedule, but I know there was some issues, so this was a correction that our building inspector wanted to make,
Okay,
but,
so then let's push it to the next meeting.
yeah, that's what I
Get to
think we
work.
should table it.
Yeah, I would
I'd rather wait
I'm
till
okay
Nick
with
is
that.
here, so we can review
see what
that.
we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you send a message to Matthew? Send all of us some info and
No problem.
put some clarity
Mhm.
and what it was prior
Yeah.
that we can compare.
Sure.
Thank you.
So the, next thing here, we have the amended revenue anticipation note resolution. And that is in here. That's the Norton Rose Fulbright handout in your,
Get the date change, that's all it is, Kathy.
okay. So this is. Okay, just the date.
I can speak to that.
Okay,
What happened was, Norton Rose, that's a bond in terms. They sent the previous revenue anticipation note. But
Yeah, 20.
there was typographical error
oh,
in the paperwork, so that the resolution was only good to May 31st, 2025, and it should have been to May 31st, 2026.
oh, I see.
Supposed to be a 1 year resolution.
Mhm.
revenue anticipation.
Oh,
So
okay,
they corrected that to 2026. That's the only thing from the previous board.
okay. So it was just a typo that's being corrected.
Correct.
So, okay, then I will, entertain a motion amending the revenue anticipation note resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next we have our bid openings for sludge hauling and wastewater sewer chemicals.
The sexy stuff. Go.
Okay, wait a minute.
Pam, you want to talk to the mayor, what you wrote on the front there?
I did.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we're gonna do the sludge hauling first. And this is from Wind River Environmental LLC.
That's the only one we got.
That's the only one we got. And this is for chemicals. Oh, no, wait, this is for sludge hauling. This is the sludge hauling, which. What's the sludge money? Okay. Legal notice. To whom it may concern. Wind River Environmental LLC. Doing business as Earth Care. So yeah, we know them as Earth Care.
Got it.
Is pleased to submit a bid for the hauling of liquid sludge from the Village of Fishkill Sewage Treatment Plant to the City of Beacon Sewage Treatment Plant for the contract period ending May 31st, 2026 at 77 cents per gallon. Transportation onto City of Beacon Treatment Plant And, about 23 cents per gallon to an alternate site.
Do we know what?
Oh, wait a minute, I don't know if I'm reading that right. The alternate site is Transportation and Disposal, North Bergen MUA. It's in Waldwick, New Jersey.
Is it 23 additional?
Yeah.
On top of the
Yeah,
seven,
yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
it's cheaper to haul it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we, okay, so we
Yeah, some of the
understand and comply, but yeah, this was the only, bid that we had.
They do ours now.
They do ours now.
Do we know what it is
Yeah,
now?
what's the bump? Is there a bump or is it the
I'm
same as
assuming there's a
before?
bump.
Oh, that was,
There's always a.
Paul didn't mention, and I think he would have because of the next one.
Right.
So I'm just gonna put this one aside for a second. Our other bid is for the water sewer plant chemicals. And this bid is saving us about $1,980 a month. So that's amazing. This is from Surpass, again, the only one we got, but this is Surpass Chemical Company from Albany, New York. And we will be saving almost $2,000 a month by going with them. So Paul was able to work this out for us.
Are they who we use presently? Or the one we use presently is not bidding?
nobody else bid, they bid, but, Paul said that we have used them in the past.
Yeah.
That's not who we're using right now.
Right.
But they
He
came,
called them and he went
I'm so
over.
interested, the present company didn't even bid.
yeah,
No,
weird, but they
That's
were
right,
able
worked
to
out.
come in at a lower
Yeah.
price, so it's a great saving.
and Paul did talk to them and went over
Yeah.
everything to make.
So
sure.
this is
Now.
a company we have worked with in the past, but we're
Okay.
not currently working with. But they did come in with, and they were the only bid. So, but, and they came in with a lower quote. So that was good. So do I, a motion to accept? Okay. Okay, so, can I do one motion for both? If I. Oh, maybe I'll do two. I'll do two. Okay, so I will entertain a motion for the sludge hauling bid for the Village of Fishkill, to Wind River Environmental Company LLC, which is DBA Earth Care. And we will entertain a motion to accept their bid for our sludge hauling.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. And thank you so much to Paul for helping us with this. And then our next bid is, I'll entertain a motion to accept a bid from Surpass Chemical Company, Inc. of Albany, New York, for our water and sewer plant chemicals.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. I just had one other thing, I wanted to bring up. We discussed a couple of meetings ago, with our highway superintendent, Istvan came in to discuss, some road issues. And, one of the biggest issues, since I've been here anyway, has been the condition of Merritt Boulevard. That's been a big struggle for us. As part of the pilot program that the GAP receives, the Village of Fishkill was mandated to maintain the road Merritt Boulevard from Route 9 about to the entrance of the GAP. Very expensive. The road is in very bad condition. However, Superintendent Istvan was talking to us about having the road striped. To have the road striped in the condition that it's in, is not going to last very long. The striping would only last about a year or two. And to have all the stripes done that would need to be done, for the turning lanes and everything would cost approximately $15,000. So I just don't see throwing good money after bad at this point. So at our next meeting, which is going to be a really busy meeting, I'd like to bring in, Stu from BTM. Paul DeForno has been in contact with him regarding, doing some paving for us on Merritt Boulevard. We do have money in our CHIPS fund. We might have to move some things around, order of importance, some projects we were gonna do. But I think that we can get a pretty good, job done by BTM, who we've used, historically here in the village. And, I think we can do it for a somewhat reasonable price, and it will last us much longer than just a year. I think, Stu will come in and speak to us, but I'm thinking we can get a good 10 to 15 years out of what he's proposing to do. So, before we, agree to do the striping with the town, I want to bring Stu in, because if we can do that, it will be better in the long run.
Some warranties and stuff like that when somebody's doing roadways that gets that much use. He's gonna get, let's say we get 10 to 15, let's say we get 10.
Yeah,
Is there a warranty on it that within those 10
I
years,
don't
that if
think
it starts
so.
dipping, that they'll come and fix it?
I don't think so.
Nothing.
Maybe like a year, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, the thing is, this road has not been paved. I mean, it's been over 20 years.
Yes, yeah.
And, we've been, trying to keep it safe and trying to patch and do everything we can while we tried to find funding from a lot of different sources. We're in the process of trying to get some federal funding, but it is a safety hazard. It has been, something that we really need to do. The original quote we got to completely redo our section of the road from our engineers was well over $1 million. So, being that we're buying a fire truck, we have to kind of weigh things out, but I think we can get a pretty good product out of, BTM that is going to last us at least 10 to 15 years, and that we will be able to cover it with the CHIPS money that we have.
Right.
So,
Bring them in.
yeah, I want to bring him in and see, what he has to say.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm sorry to do that. But we're gonna have to schedule him for the next meeting, because I really want to get this done at ASAP.
Yeah, yeah.
This has been,
Needs to be.
something we've been working on for a number of years, and we need to get it done.
I'll bring in snacks to the next meeting.
Okay, snacks are in order.
So I heard something very unsettling right now. Pam is on vacation that week.
Oh, no. Well, we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll make it work.
Did you have anything, Nick?
I did not, thank you.
Did you have anything, Pam?
No, I'm good.
No.
No, I think, the only thing is, Hans, should you get word of any new big projects coming before you, let us know, keep us apprised.
Definitely.
I don't know if you,
I would just, I read it on Facebook and I just.
yeah, I don't like
It's-
learning
it's-
about things on social media.
Yeah, and so I didn't pay too much attention to that because I'm trying to think of where.
Right,
What was
What
the,
apartment complexes are they talking about? And I never thought about the, whatever they're called over by Loudon Drive, that's village there, and then after that.
Yeah, but those are condos. Those
Those are
are,
condos.
right.
So I never even thought about any of that.
Yeah.
And last I knew, when All Sport, or whatever it's called, was sold, that they were definitely not doing anything whatsoever. And I was totally surprised when, at the beginning of the meeting, when we all had that little.
there's an area on Route 52,
Yeah.
a little cluster of homes. Mike Lucas was the previous owner, cluster of homes. Just as you passed all four on your right-hand side, and they do go back a little bit, a few bungalows and cottages back there. That area has been sold, and the idea is that it's going to become retail. They're gonna knock down all the homes with retail on the bottom and apartments on top.
is it that big back there?
I think once they mow down all the homes and the trees around it,
Right,
it
by
could be.
Those cluster of homes by that exit, like is it the
Yes.
exit?
Mhm.
Across from,
Exactly.
I think it's a dentist now, but it was the troopers
Yeah, across.
years
It's
ago.
on the other side of the street.
On the other, but,
On the other side, yeah.
and they go back a little?
It does go back.
Yes.
Goes back, yeah, it goes back further than you might think, actually. So,
Was it sold to?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, and I mean, it would have to be merged and,
Well, they'd have to go, right, I mean,
They'd
they'd
come
have
through,
to.
but like there's drawings and there's pictures and it's circulating on social media.
Oh, there's
so-
drawing.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, so,
Oh, I haven't-
I figured we'd just try and stay ahead of that.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no one has approached, I mean, last time there was a discussion about the All Sport property, which is
Yeah.
actually quite large before,
But I think some of that property extended back to the town, and so.
yes.
There was that, but this is exclusively, this is majority in the village.
Mhm.
So it's like walk back in there and, you know, there's homes, there's people living there and, you know, these people are worried about them being evicted and they've got nowhere to go and there's some real concerns. So-
Right,
So these homes
Must
are
be
rented, they
rentals,
must be
yeah.
rented,
Yes,
like an
yes.
old summer
They're
bungalow,
tenants and-
old summer
I
bungalow.
think there's some apartments.
They're around,
No, but they were probably originally
probably
summer,
at one point, yes, they seem to be seasonal looking featured, but they are not, they are permanent dwellings and the owner passed away and the family has sold the property.
Okay,
So that's where,
yeah, I mean, what is the zone over there? Like, what would that?
where was the traffic, where were the cars?
Because there was a meeting, a couple of years ago before the Rettel family sold the All Sport property, where they had come in and inquired about doing some things, but it would have required rezoning over there, so.
BCBD.
So could that use work in that zone?
Good, but it would have to be all come under special use. They would need a special use permit. That would, depends on how much property is there and
Yeah,
what, you know,
What they wanna do.
what they want to do.
uh-huh. Okay. All right, well, it's something to keep our eyes on. Like I said, no one has contacted the village in any, I mean, I can double check with our building inspector, but I,
What Facebooks is it on? Not that I have Facebook.
what was it?
Where is it circulating around?
Sure, I gotta figure it
I
out.
actually saw it too.
It did,
I
it
did.
would be on the Fishkill, the, you know, you from Fishkill page, but it did have some drawings
Mhm.
attached to it, like professional drawings.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah. So whoever bought it has a definite idea.
Mhm. Okay, well, it's something to pay, you know, keep our ears peeled, right? I just always think, you know, when somebody is gonna buy something, they would inquire about the uses beforehand, but not everybody does that, yeah.
And we have some worried citizens over there about their.
Yeah,
so-
no, I understand that for sure, because, you know, that's always a concern, definitely, if you don't know where you're gonna end up, so. We'll definitely keep our ears peeled for that. Did you have anything else, Ian? or-
No, that was it.
Any, Hans, do you have anything?
This next planning board meeting will be July.
17? Okay. And what do we have on the agenda for that so far? Do we know? Well, we sent you a couple things. Do you have anything else? Okay. Yeah, just what we're sending you was,
This is what we're sending you.
okay, gotcha.
And. No agenda.
Okay, okay.
Do you know anything, or you know anything about the sewer backup down by my house?
Yes. I spoke to Paul today and he mentioned it to me and maybe give him a call, but he was talking to me about grease traps and, you know, stuff like that by the restaurants. And, yeah, they were working on that, I think, today.
It got pretty nasty, my toilet exploded.
Oh, really?
And my neighbor had some severe damage done.
I think Paul's been in contact with your neighbor. Yeah, he wrote a letter for him for his insurance company. Yeah. But yeah, Paul would be the guy to answer that for sure.
And also, was there some sort of a car show or something, because the town police had Roger Road blocked off for a while, Saturday. And then all this bunch of whole wild, very expensive vehicles and roaring through. and-
Yeah, so two things I've noticed. It's happened a couple times. So there's been a couple times over, Bill Figley is. So I don't know if it's an official car show, but I noticed there's like gathering of,
They may host a meeting.
yeah, but they're probably more, what's the word I'm looking for? You ever see Fast and the Furious? So they're probably those little type of, cars that have been, modified and geared up and stuff. So they do a lot. I've noticed it was, one other time, I want to say it was last year, and you can hear them revving up and down the street and also in the parking lot. So I've noticed that too. And was it this Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering there because,
But I don't think it's an official because I remember it was either Saturday or Sunday.
You couldn't get in that.
Well, there was one on Sunday that was official at the firehouse. So it was at the firehouse and it was gears and pancakes or gears and something. A roundabout, right? Because, but these were more of the professional, only because a friend texted me, he was bringing his Porsche. So it was those type of things for that one on Sunday. And actually, this other one might have been up on Sunday because I remember it was weird because I was coming home from church and I saw lots of people gathering. And at first I thought it was at the clinic. I'm like, uh-oh, is there like COVID run? Is there something happening? I was like, does somebody not tell me? So I'm texting my people and it wasn't anything. And then I heard the cars. So I think it was all on Sunday. But I've noticed the same thing. So I don't know. We might want to talk to Glenn. Like I said, I don't think it's an official.
racing? Are they racing?
Yeah, do you know?
Charity event and they had lunch at La Sorella after and it was to raise.
Okay.
For.
Because it's happened one other time, but they
It was
do
like
kind of,
farmers.
Yeah.
It was like.
they do make a
Sunday.
lot of noise. I do
Yeah,
have to
it was in a
admit.
different county, I think, and then they drove to La Sorella and had lunch and then they had dogs outside that you could adopt and stuff. So it was
Okay.
a charity event.
Oh,
What
Yeah,
time was
because
it?
it was noisy. I do have to admit.
oh, okay.
I think Scott hosts it.
Yeah, I know there's been some issues over on that road by the diner with like, and in the town as
On the
well.
other end.
The
of
other,
Merritt, right?
yeah, I think they've had some issues, so, we'll just, maybe have a conversation with Glenn and just check in, but if that was a charity event, that's,
It was quick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Like they were closed at. 2:30,
no,
3 o'clock.
it was longer than you think. I gotta tell you, it was pretty noisy and you can hear them ripping up and down the street in fairness.
Yeah, I just saw the parking lot.
So,
Mhm.
but the one down at the firehouse was gears, griddles and grounds.
oh. Well, they have a big parking
They have a
lot
big
too,
parking lot,
so,
yeah.
yeah,
One thing that bothers me is that, something happened in the village, but why is the town police blocking off the village street?
That I don't know, yeah.
yeah, I mean,
That-
that's a good
that's a
question,
for Glenn, right?
Oh, it was a town.
town police, yeah,
Why was it blocked?
maybe they didn't,
Question for Glenn, I don't know.
Roaring through, then all of a sudden the cop disappears.
It's a Glenn question.
yeah, we'll have to ask Glenn, I don't, hopefully they notified him of the event ahead of time, so. Okay, motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor? Any
Aye.
discussion? All in favor? Aye, thank you. I messed that up.
Wasn't sure if you were more.
I didn't.
You wanted me to.